Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Data Talk podcast. My name's Mauricio, and this is episode 2. Are we even ready? So, welcome everybody, and thank you to anyone that did listen to episode 1, where we really sort of, started with the real beginning when we were asked about wanting to start to try and have a baby. And that was an interesting topic, and shared my experience on how that went, the emotions, the conversation, the feelings, the excitement, all that jazz. Whereas now in this episode, I want to take a moment to really just start to break it down to that next stage of really knowing, are we even ready? And I think there's a couple of elements to this, so really looking forward to this episode. So let's kick things off with what are some of the first signs of knowing, are you even ready? And I think this episode may appeal a bit more to those that are just in that initial stages, but I guess, as I say, nonetheless, it's probably also for those that have been there, done that, to just take a moment and think back to what that was like for them and what some of those triggers were that really gave them that, hey, you know what, yeah, we're ready, let's do this. So for me, I think it was I'll take it back a step actually. I like to spend a bit of time on YouTube and just look up or either tech stuff or at the time of when we were looking to start trying, spending a lot of time analyzing crypto, and I won't bore everyone on that one, but my search changed. What I was being fed through YouTube changed to the best strollers of 2022, the safest cots, the best cameras to have in your room for your baby and to monitor them. And I think that's really when that penny dropped for me, was just knowing that, you know what, I was actually investing my time into really wanting to prepare myself as best as possible. And, you can always try as much as you want, but ultimately, it's probably never enough, but that's for another episode. But that was really it for me. It was just noticing that on my YouTube, and if I had a look at my tabs on my phone, the browsers were always sort of Baby Bunting and a couple of other baby stores around, and just sussing out when they had sales, registering to a whole bunch of different websites, and it was all systems go, 100% foot to the floor. I love doing my research. I love checking out things and making sure that I've sort of got a good understanding when I'm going to go into either making a purchase of whatever it may be, but in this case it was elevated greatly by the fact that it was hoping in the preparation of wanting to have a baby and become a father. I'd also subscribed to a couple of other followers on YouTube that did something similar in terms of the reviews and what you need and what you don't need. And I guess, like I said, that was really my first trigger to tell me that, you know what, I am ready. So that was a bit more on a superficial level around what I was doing with my time. But if I go a bit deeper on that and talk about the emotional side of things, for me, what really stood out was just this real strange feeling of just joy and happiness. And, not happy like when you go out and buy something, like, oh God, I'm so happy now, I've got this new phone. No, nothing like that at all. It was just a real strange feeling that I hadn't felt before. And, it was just this like little little kid in a candy store kind of thing, where I was really excited and prepared for what was to come. Now, when I was to talk about that with my wife, we were both really excited. We'd been talking about this for a little while, and it was just one of those things that we wanted to make sure we were ready. And definitely those kinds of indications for us gave us, and for me personally, gave me the feeling of this is going to be a new journey, a new chapter in my life, in our lives, in our relationship. And so to be able to be comfortable knowing that we were about to start to try was just, I don't know, it was an overwhelming feeling of happiness and joy. And when I talked to friends briefly about the fact that we'll probably start trying soon, it was just this smile from ear to ear, because it was exciting. Now, that sometimes I'm sure isn't for everybody, and for those that may not get any of those triggers, I'm sure there's something there. I'm sure there is something that will identify what stage you are at and whether you are ready. But others, it might be just even clearer. Nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, what we want to make sure is, or what I wanted to make sure, was that my wife and I both wanted this a lot, and was going to do whatever it took to make it happen. And so it's definitely something that I remember very, very closely, researching that and spending lots of times up at night just checking everything out and reading and understanding everything that was about to follow. But that being said, let's also not forget that we also need to think about our wives, our partners. This all can't just happen because of one person. It is a team effort. So as much as there was moments of my own personal triggers and indications of whether I was ready, I also wanted to make sure that consciously I wanted to be there for my wife. It is said that, I guess that the female, has been wanting to have a child for a long time, or wanted to be a mother for a long time, I must say. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready. It's a want, but it may not be that they're actually ready. So in our case, it was just something that I wanted to make sure that when we were talking about this, or just discussing, or sitting on the couch, just looking at each other and thinking about what we're about to get into, that I was checking in on her and making sure that, she was okay, because it could easily get very overwhelming. And with so much out on the internet, so many different things on Instagram and on websites and on Google, it just takes you a second to come across any odd scenario or story, and can throw things out of whack really easily. And so I think being focused on what we wanted and being positive was what I wanted to portray as much as possible, because not only did I feel it, but it was also, I felt like something important to share as a family, that this is a positive thing. This is what we've been talking about for so long now. Probably the only thing up for debate of that, though, I must say, is the number of children. She was very adamant of hoping to try for 3, whereas I come from a single family, an only child, and for me, one's plenty. But again, I'm sure we'll save that for another day. Now that I talk about this and I do reflect back in the moment, I do feel like there could be more done, though. And I don't think that by any means anyone's perfect or anything like that, but I feel like it's something that is important to take stock at that point in time, and I wish I did that a little bit more. even though, like I said, I've put off a couple of things that really stood out to me to give me those indications of being ready. I do wonder, were there also times where I could have probably just supported my wife a little bit more when there may have been some doubts or something that happened within her circle of friends that just sort of rocked her a little bit. And it's just important to be there, at the end of the day. It's your partner, it's your best friend, it's your wife, it's your everything. So you just want to make sure. And I do feel like there may have been some times where that could have been a bit more prominent than what it was. But all in all, I felt like the right signs were there, as I said. So that's a bit of my story. It's a bit about what I was able to take as some signals, you can call it, during that space and during that time when we were discussing about wanting to have children and making sure we knew, this was the right time that we wanted to start. The age was right. We were in the right jobs. Nice family, built a nice family home. So sort of, you could call it almost ticked a couple of those boxes, and this was that next stage. But like I said, that's just my story, and hopefully that has, given you an opportunity to just think about what that was like during your stages, and what were some of those, signals that came to you to really sort of give you that confidence to say, you know what, yes, we are ready, and we can take this and do it as a family and as parents, or soon to be, wanting to be parents. Now, what I wanted to also touch on was a little bit about our sponsor. So our sponsor is a little side business that we've put together, and you could call it a sponsor, but at the end of the day, it's also us here just trying to shed some light into some personalization, some custom clothing when it comes to some memories that we have. Now that could be anywhere from the embroidery of a picture, a symbol, an icon, a particular design that you may wish or you may like. So Embedded Memories is going to be sponsoring this, and we will be doing a couple of plugs on Embedded Memories throughout this podcast. This was just a couple of ideas that I had over the last few days, and so I'll talk a little bit more about that over the next few episodes, and share some more information around Embedded Memories. But that concludes our episode 2. What's going to be episode 3? So for those, I do hope you do come back and check in on episode 3. What I wanted to leave you with is that feeling of what's it like when you and your partner are trying, but that first month it just doesn't quite work, and your wife comes out and says, "Oh, I've just had my period again." You just see the look on her face. But episode 3, look forward to that. Look forward to sharing that all with you, and passing on my experiences to those wishing to listen, and hopefully, get something from this. But at the end of the day, as I've said, this is a safe place. This is a safe space for us males, fathers, to just share how we feel and really support each other. So with that being said, I wish you all the best. Have a great rest of the day, and hope you all tune in for episode 3. Thank you.